I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight fading, or am I just imagining it? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing, and I gave it up, and took my old body and went out into the morning and sang. Mary Oliver was born in Ohio in 1935, and she became one of America's most beloved poets. She wrote mostly about nature and life's small moments, and over her career, she published tons of poetry and prose, winning her big awards like the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award. She spent most of her life in Provincetown, Massachusetts, surrounded by nature, and she kept writing until she sadly passed away in 2019. So basically, as a little quick rundown summary, in I Worried, Mary Oliver talks a lot about her fears, and most of these fears are uncontrollable. She worries about the world around her, or even just aspects of herself, like her health or her abilities. And because of this, the poem starts off as super tense and heavy. As the poem progresses, we see that she sort of accepts her situation and doesn't want to give in to worry anymore because she realizes that it doesn't change anything. And what makes this poem super powerful is how she displays and shows, obviously, the emotion of worry. She uses rhetorical questions to do so. She says, if not, how shall I correct it? Or can I do better? And this just shows us how thoughts can loop in our heads. She also uses the conditional tense, like if, and she uses a lot of will throughout her poem, which can be seen in multiple stanzas. And this just shows us that she's worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. So if you think about it, there's no reason to be worrying about these things because you don't know if they're going to happen per se. And throughout her poem, we see her thinking, and it basically mirrors how, or the way anxious thoughts just keep spinning around in your head. She even compares herself to sparrows in the third stanza, and it's kind of funny because she basically says, if birds are able to sing, why can't I? How is it possible that these animals are able to sing and I just can't, And it basically shows how worry can feel so real, but it also shows how often and unnecessary it is as well. And by the end of the poem, we see that worrying doesn't solve anything. And it ends with her stepping into the morning and singing. And that singing becomes a symbol of this sort of letting go and freedom. I've always been the kind of person who worries probably more than I should. For example, when I was younger, I used to straighten my hair every single day for 4 years because I was so scared of what people would think of me. I would literally fry it because I wanted to fit in. I also used to get super nervous when talking in front of people that my face would just turn bright red. And over time, I've gotten way better at it, and I've learned to care less about what other people think, to speak up, and to focus more on who I'm becoming. But obviously, I still worry about things. I'm human too. And that's why I chose I Worried by Mary Oliver, because it just really resonates with me. Just like her, I get caught up in things that I can't control, but she also reminds me that worrying doesn't change anything and that at some point you have to let go and step into the morning and live. This also connects a lot to the death of Ivan Illich, because Ivan spends his whole life chasing approval and social perfection, and only when he's dying does he realize just how much he missed. That fear of not being enough and living for others instead of yourself, I sometimes see in myself. And in George Gray, it's the same idea, because he looks back at a life that was safe, but it was so empty because he let fear and worry hold him back. And I don't want that.
However, in a few months' time, I'll be moving to Poland to study for medicine. It's just super scary because I'll obviously be away from everything familiar, but it feels like my Ansang moment, and it's finally my chance to let go of fear and to start living fully.
I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight fading, or am I just imagining it? Am I gonna get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that ring had come to nothing. And I gave it up, and took my old body and went out into the morning and sang.
I'm your doctor. You have rheumatism, lockjaw, and dementia.
No!